All right, welcome into the Three Guys Talking Ball podcast. It is episode 69. Nice. It is the Jared Allen and Mark Schlereth edition. We got to go offense, defense. I bet you those two, if they were to be playing, they would have had a hell of a battle watching those two on the offensive lines. I know Grant would be drooling, and you could kind of see a little bit of drool running out of his mouth if you're watching on YouTube. if that matchup were to ever happen. But
Jared would beat the piss out of him.
I don't know. Mark Schlereth doesn't mess around either, though.
Jared would beat the piss out of him.
Okay.
Jared's going to be in the Hall of Fame someday.
That's true. Mark Schlereth does have 2 Super Bowls, though. 3. No, he's got 3.
Hey, man, a lot of people got Super Bowl rings, but only 350 people are in the Hall of Fame.
That's true.
And Jared Allen jumped out of a tree and killed the deer. So, I mean...
That is pretty badass. I'll give that to him.
Oh, and he had one of the best mullets in the NFL ever.
I guarantee you, though, if you ask Jared Allen what he would rather have, if he would rather have a Super Bowl or be in the Hall of Fame, I bet you he would say Super Bowl, knowing the team guy, competitor that he is.
Dylan, I kid you not, we literally lost you right before you said what he'd rather be in.
Oh, I guarantee you he would rather be a Super Bowl champion than be in the Hall of Fame, knowing the team guy and competitor he is.
Oh, well, I can smell
I think individual accolades mean a whole lot to him.
I can smell the sarcasm on your breath, so I'm going to say that's erroneous.
That's not sarcasm. That's serious.
Well, I'm going to take it from Chris Carter, another Hall of Famer, who said, "Give me that gold jacket compared to that Super Bowl ring any day of the week."
Well, that's why Chris Carter is a nobody anymore. And so, I mean, he is about as relevant as Michigan is in basketball right now, who is in the Sweet 16.
Yeah, the Cupcake Sweet 16.
What? No, look it up. Look it up. The NCAA tournament had to change how they did things because too many people were turning down NCAA tournament bids because they would rather be in the NIT. It's coming back. They changed the venue from New York to Vegas now. It is way big. It's going to be bigger than the NCAA tournament.
We should just go to the next topic.
Yeah, let's move on. I feel stupid. I feel like everybody got dumber listening to that.
What? I'm sorry the facts hurt your feelings.
I didn't say anything about my feelings, you idiot. I said my intelligence level dropped.
Well, that usually happens when you talk to me, though, so...
Go on.
I have you all over the place. I'm just running laps around your brain right now, Grant. You don't have a response because you know I'm right. Nothing. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, Aaron Rodgers is a JETS.
That's not true.
Well, will be.
He wants to be.
You're jumping the gun. He wants to be.
He wants to be.
It's pretty much all but over.
I don't get how the Packers think they have any leverage in this situation whatsoever.
Are they asking for 3 first-round picks?
2. They said multiple first-rounders is what it said.
Okay.
Did you guys get to watch his interview with McAfee today?
I watched the last maybe 3-4 minutes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I watched pretty much though. I was able to watch pretty much the whole thing. And he talked about his darkness retreat. And it sounds terrible, to be honest.
I have a question.
Fire away.
If you are 90% sure you're going to retire before you go to said darkness retreat, and then after your 4 days in the dark, you decide, hey, I want to play football, are you really all in on playing football? Or...
I think he just wants to slam it in the Packers' face. I legitimately just think that's all it is.
Has Aaron Rodgers, for the last, 5 years, been all in on football? Because even, when he was with Green Bay, it's he hasn't thrown with any of his receivers. He hasn't done any of the offseason stuff. You almost have to if you want to be a serious contender now. You have to be throwing Wilsons to Wilson.
Nice Nice play there. That was good.
Thank you.
I worry that if I'm the Jets, I'm going to bring in a veteran who's going to make $60 million next year. $60 million, and I got this nice young core that he's not all in, that I'm actually going to hurt my franchise more than do anything. And I know the Jets were desperate and they don't have a quarterback, but I don't know. I just retire is a different story. It's not like, when you're 90% on your way to say I'm done, I just feel like it's hard to come back from that.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe it'll be like Tom Brady with the Bucs last year. But like Ethan said, everything it has to become official, and it hasn't become official yet.
True.
So, guys, it's like the second best span of the sports calendar. We got March Madness starting today.
I think it's
as this episode drops.
I think it's the best 3 weekends of the sports year. That's just me. What do you think would be better than this?
Well, you could say
me
the
and Grant
playoffs.
are going to be watching basketball all day tomorrow. We're going to get probably some food, a lot of lotion, and a lot of TV.
And a lot of peanut butter.
And a lot of tissues.
A lot of peanut butter.
Is Raleigh going to be there too?
I'm bringing her with me. She's going to meet Boone.
Oh, there you go.
No,
boy.
I don't think that's a good idea.
That's a horrible idea.
Boone will not welcome her with open arms.
Oh, no. Either Ethan's...
They haven't met yet?
And they never will.
No.
Oh,
they never will.
Okay. Why will they never meet?
Well,
Boone's very picky in who he meets and who he likes.
And Ralph,
sounds racist.
Boone's racist.
he is a racist dog.
Legitimately, you're laughing, but he is absolutely 100% racist.
And we know the color of the fur on Raleigh, so that would not be good.
But actually, he tries to eat Mike and Joe every time he sees them.
Oh. All righty.
Hannah doesn't say he's racist. She just says he's very selective in who he likes.
So she's politely saying he's a racist dog.
It's PTSD, which it is, but he's also racist because of PTSD.
Well,
Hannah should get a PR
that
job because that was fantastic. The way she worded that.
You could say Grant's racist too because he's very selective of the people he likes.
I hate everybody.
Whoa.
Yet
Boone
us two, we're still
talking
around.
Yep. But no, yeah, Boone's like that, and then as Dylan, you would know, Raleigh is very assertive in how she likes to greet people. But she'd try to jump on his ass, and then
she's an alpha dog,
and he would try to jump on her ass, and then we'd have dogs fighting before we know it.
That's true.
And I've seen Boone.
Well, we don't want. And you're not Michael Vick.
I've seen Boone's nails, and Raleigh's nails are getting pretty goddamn long now too. So
you got to fend off raccoon attacks.
Oh, that was awful.
Yeah.
Well, right as my uncle's dog just dies because of raccoon. Get it? There's a coon in our backyard. Raccoon. And I'm sprinting to get this dog inside because what if that raccoon jumps on her? She's not going to know what happened. She's always been the attacker. Nothing's attacked her, so that would have been bad.
Yeah. I really got to figure out how to work this new mixer because I really need to get one of those buttons on one of the radio shows I used to listen to. Guy would always, anytime there would be anything like not actually racist, but like people would say like a Harry and Meghan scenario of like anytime somebody said, "Oh, that's a black dog," you could hit where they have a button that says British lady that says racist, racist. But hey, Booner,
that's a dog right there next to Ethan. What a guy!
Hey.
That's a dog.
Oh, he's got his watchdog eyes on.
He's a little sleepy. He just we just had some dinner. He's happy.
Oh, he's got a full
tail is wagging.
He's got a full belly. He ain't going anywhere.
There it is. But guys, March Madness is going on. The playing games are going right now. I think what do we have? Was it Texas Southern and Farley Dickinson?
Yeah, Farley Dickinson was doing really well last I saw.
They were up, and then I saw it got down to 10, and before I jumped on here, I think it was back up to like 14 or something. But they get a date with Purdue, and I probably wouldn't pick either of them to compete against.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see another Virginia probably ever again.
No. We almost saw one the next year with Virginia when they were trailing at halftime, but
that is true.
So But I think the best way we do this is we just go region by region. We'll start with the South, then go. I don't know how you guys fill yours out, and we'll start with the South, and then do our Elite Eight picks, and then come back do the Final Four. Sound good?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I got Sweet 16 matchups if you want to start there, but it don't bother me any.
Yeah, we'll go through the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eights. We'll announce as we go through, like everybody will do South.
Yeah.
Then we'll go to East, then Midwest, West. Yeah. So
I like it.
So I'll start now. 1 seed is Alabama versus Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Beautiful campus at Corpus Christi. If you've ever seen it, the Islanders got a win over South SEMO, and I think the Tide roll into the third round now because
it's the second. That's not.
Yeah, it's always the second, technically third, but it'll always be the second.
And before we do picks, can I tell you a quick story about I started a bracket challenge at work about what one of the kids did today?
Sure.
So I come into work and you obviously have on the far right side you have the matchups. Yep. And then inside of the brackets it shows where those games are being played. He thought those were the actual matchups, the actual cities. And pulled the bracket out like that. The whole damn thing.
We laugh now, but that guy's gonna win your bracket.
No, I didn't even count him. Like, I didn't even tell him. Like, I was like, I feel like I'm gonna shame him even more if I did tell him, because then he actually he just feels like a complete idiot, which he is.
Yeah.
But why tear him down? He thinks he's gonna get a free Starbucks at Target, but no.
Huh. Yeah.
Yeah, his
probably smart by you to not tell him, because he would definitely go on and win that bracket.
Yeah.
Or his national title matchup is Des Moines versus Birmingham.
It was I want to say Denver versus Orlando. I'm pretty sure.
Hey, that's going to be
Orlando. I know won the whole thing, so
that's going to be the Denver.
The Magic have just won the NCAA tournament.
Oh, that's good.
About time. That's going to be the NBA Finals matchup in 3 years. You heard it here first.
Yeah, Nuggets in Orlando.
Yep.
Thank you, Jack, for the preview.
All right, 2026. We'll keep your word to it.
Yep. All right, back to picks.
Okay, so and then in the second game, Maryland, the 8 seed versus the 9 seeded West Virginia. I like West Virginia. And then San Diego State, Charleston. I like Charleston. I like the 12 seed to upset the 5. I think San Diego State's been reeling a little bit. I think Charleston can shoot the lights out, and then there's stretches where San Diego State is not very good on offense. I think that could be the difference. I think Charleston, being the underdog, they're going to come out guns blazing, and we're not. I don't even know if that one's in Birmingham. No, that one's in Orlando. Okay, never mind.
Yep.
I just know Iowa plays Auburn in Birmingham. That's why I said that.
Yeah. And so I like Charleston to move on, and I have them playing Virginia. From what I've gathered, hey, Raleigh.
It's a good girl.
Sounds like Furman's they got here a year early. Sounds like next year is going to be their year. And then in the 6-11 matchup,
portal's probably going to change that.
It could. In the 6-11 matchup in the South, the Creighton NC State. I like Ethan's Final Four projection. Creighton to advance.
Final Four.
Yeah. And then after that one, Baylor, UC, Santa Barbara. The Gauchos don't have enough to beat the Baylor Bears. One of the rare occurrences of a Bear beating a Gaucho or Cowboy. And then Missouri, Utah State. I like Mizzou. Don't know a whole lot about other teams. I know Ethan speaks very highly of the Mizzou's coach. So
Dennis.
Yep. So you know what? I guess I'm gonna roll with the Tigers. And then in the 2-15 matchup, Arizona Princeton. Arizona's a good team. Don't know anything about Princeton. They might be smart, but judging by some of the things that have come out of the Ivy League makes me question that. So into the in the bracket I actually have, guys, it says first and second round. Can you look at that?
Oh, so you got it right. You got the right.
Oh, same here. Thank God.
So
someone's doing it right. I
yeah,
have the same bracket, by the way. Yeah, very neat.
So
First one
Alabama, West Virginia. I like the Tide to roll on. I guess that's a little bit of a Nick Saban royale because Nick Saban's from West Virginia, but I like the Tide to beat Huggy Bear. Charleston versus Virginia. I think Charleston continues their hot shooting and upsets Virginia as Charleston moves on to the Sweet 16. And then in the Creighton-Baylor matchup, I'm rolling with the Midwest. I'm rolling with the Jays. I like Creighton. Creighton to move to the Sweet 16. Missouri, Arizona, I got to go with the Wildcats. Lute Olson's from North Dakota. Former coach, RIP. Lute Olson is from North Dakota, so got to roll with the Wildcats on that one. And then we got the Sweet 16 matchups, Alabama versus Charleston. I like Alabama. Alabama there, I think, week off to prepare. Charleston's Cinderella run ends just short. And then in the other game, I like in Creighton, Arizona, I like the Wildcats to advance again. And which sets up in the Elite Eight, Alabama versus Arizona. I think they're playing too well right now. They're just too hot. I think that continues, and I think they find their way to Houston for the Final Four. So that's my South region.
All right. Well, I agree with you. I don't think Texas A&M Christian, whatever their team name is.
Corpus Christi.
That's the word. I don't think they're going to hang with Alabama. Brandon Miller's going to get patted down, and it's not going to matter. He's going to move on.
Let's go.
Then we're going Maryland, West Virginia. I think Maryland's guards are good enough to handle the pressure. Jameer Young, I think is his name, or Jahir Young. Dude's a freak from Maryland. They're just super quick. They're studs, so I think they'll be fine. I got Charleston beating San Diego State, too. It kind of scares me how many people are picking Charleston, but the pride of Minnesota, Mr. Larson, their point guard, is going to lead them to victory. I got Virginia winning, too. I know nothing about Furman. Their name just kind of scares me, so we're going with Virginia.
Paladins. I think that's their mascot. They played the Bison in the playoffs in 2013.
Did they?
That was the.
It's just a weird name, I'm not getting good vibes. So we're going to go with
sexist.
Virginia. Yeah, it's fine. Creighton, NC State. I think the ACC is terrible. I have one ACC team winning this whole tournament. They might as well just call the conference ASS ass this year because it's that bad. So go Creighton, go Blue Jays.
The lighters.
UCSB. I almost picked them to beat Baylor, but I didn't. So we're going Baylor. Missouri, Utah State. This might have a total of 200 points.
Which I'm all
Neither
for.
team plays defense. All they do is score.
Which I'm
so this
for.
should be a fun one. Yep, it's going to be great. And then you got Arizona, Princeton. Sorry, but SAT scores don't count during this game, so Arizona moves on.
Dummy.
All right, second round.
Alabama, Maryland. Alabama are freaks. They don't care who they play. They are going to win this game. Charleston, Virginia. Wow, the Battle of Virginia here. This is exciting. Oh, no, it's South Carolina. I got excited there.
Yeah.
But Charleston wins. They are actually extremely good. I don't think people realize how good they actually are. Creighton, Baylor. I picked them preseason. Still rolling with them right now. Taking Creighton. I just think they're a better team. Baylor Shireman's going to just go off this game. He's finally going to get warmed up. He's been struggling for a bit. And then Missouri, Arizona. Arizona's going to win that. I don't think Missouri can hang with them. I don't think they really beat either Alabama or the Tennessees of the SEC, so I don't think they're going to beat Arizona. Back to the top, I got the same as Dylan. Alabama over Charleston. The dream season ends, but it was a heck of a ride for all the Charleston fans. Grant, you're in the dark.
This stupid dog.
Let's go in Darkness Retreat live podcast.
Aaron Rodgers.
This is where me and Dylan kind of split off. I'm taking Creighton.
Ooh.
I think they are going to be damn good. I think, honestly, probably after the Big 12, I think the Big East was probably the best actual conference in the league or in the country this year. They might be the best team or best league outside of the Big 12 the last 3 years. This conference is loaded. But,
and I think Creighton's a lot better than a 6 seed, but they had that stretch where they lost like 6 in a row because they had a couple of guys one was like he had like mono or something. Mm-hmm. I can't remember exactly what it was, and then they had another guy that was sick or hurt, and they had that rough stretch, and that's kind of why they're a 6 seed.
I want to say almost it was like 4 or 5 of the top 6 teams in the Big East all had like a 5-game losing streak at one point. Like it was just stupid. They just beat the living shit out of each other. But still, Alabama's too good. They're going to beat Creighton and advance to the Final Four.
All righty, Grant.
All right, so my turn. And unlike you guys, I was not prepared, and I do not have a physical copy of said bracket, so I might need some help just in terms of the matchups. But I remember who I picked on here.
Okay.
But we're going to start with the number 1 overall seed in the tournament. And just like Ethan said, Brandon Miller is going to get the pat down treatment, like he's at TSA, and he's going to be all clear for takeoff. And him and that Alabama team is going to dominate, and they're going to win their first round game probably by 20, 25 points. But they're just the hottest team in America right now. And on the 8-9 matchup, I'm going to go with Maryland Terrapins. I'm staying with the Big Ten country. I don't think West Virginia has enough offense. They're going to try to put that pressure down on Maryland. But I think Maryland's going to be able to beat that press. They're going to score, and West Virginia's not going to be able to match up after that. And then when we go, what's the next? Is it the 6-11 game below that, guys?
Yeah.
No, 5-12. 5-12.
Well, Three's Company. We're all picking Charleston here. And you know what? Like Ethan says, they're very good. I don't know anything about Charleston, but when I was watching when the brackets came out on Sunday, whether it was CBS or ESPN, everyone's saying Charleston is going to be a good upset team. And I said, you know what? It's a 5-12. That's the upset that happens every year. We'll roll Charleston. And it's voted the number 1 city in America every year. So we're going to roll with it.
That's probably because Alex Murdaugh's not there anymore.
Ooh, probably.
Had to get that
get that one in there. Hey, don't steal money, folks. Bad things will happen to you.
Or drugs.
And then we're at the 4-11, right?
4-13. Yep. Virginia Furman.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna go with Furman here, guys. I'm going with Furman. I'm going with the upset. Kind of like West Virginia. I don't think Virginia has enough offense to score, and they're missing their center who broke his hand before the ACC tournament. I think that's just going to wear on this team a little bit, and Tony Bennett's struggles outside of winning that championship here in Minneapolis is going to continue. So we'll go with Furman getting the upset there.
All right. 6-11, Creighton, NC State.
I'm with Ethan. I'm going Creighton. I think the ACC is garbage. NC State should not have been in the tournament this year. They lost to Clemson 3 times, and a Clemson team that didn't make the tournament. NC State doesn't belong. Creighton's a better team than what they are. And I'll roll with Ethan's preseason team to advance to the second round.
I think that's going to probably be the biggest win in the first round. I think Creighton absolutely beats living shit out.
Yeah, like I said, the ACC was a bad conference this year, and NC State, they lost to.
When they hit shots, they're good, but it's so inconsistent of when they do it. Yeah. Like if they're able to, I can easily see them beating NC State, but I just don't trust them.
But kind of like what Ethan said, I just don't trust the ACC. So I'm gonna go Creighton, and then the 3-14. I said the Baylor Bears were in the Final Four to start the year, so I'm going to roll with the Baylor Bears, even though they have struggled in the tournament. They either win it all or they lose in the second round. But we're going to roll with the Baylor Bears here in round 1. And then is it 7-10 after this?
Yep. Missouri, Utah State.
I'm going to go with Mizzou. They're scoring a lot of points. They're feeling confident. We're going to go with the Tigers there. And then for some reason, I'm drawing a blank on this 2-15 game.
Arizona, Princeton.
Arizona, like Ethan said, SAT scores don't matter. Arizona, they always have 3 guys who are over 7 feet tall. They're going to put up 90 points. Arizona's going to advance.
All righty, and then so now you've got Alabama,
Maryland. Again, I'm going to roll with the Tide. I think Maryland finally matches someone who's just as athletic as they are, if not more athletic. They're not playing the Gophers or Iowa. the Terps aren't in this game, so Alabama is going to they're going to advance into the Sweet 16.
All
South
right,
region.
we've got a 12-13 matchup between Charleston and Furman.
Well, hey, it's the number one city in America. Charleston's going to the Sweet 16.
Okay. All right. Now we got Creighton Baylor.
I'm going to go with Creighton because I think this is
where.
where.
That's a sweep, so probably pick Baylor.
Yep. So I think this is where the struggles this year of Baylor come back to catch them. I think McDermott's going to have Creighton ready to play, and the Blue Jays pull off the upset.
Okay, and then we've got Mizzou, Arizona.
I'm going to go with Arizona here. Like I just said, they're too tall. They're too athletic. They can score a bunch of points. This game might be first to 100, but I'm gonna go with the Wildcats here. And then,
okay. All right.
And it's
Sweet 16. We've got a sweep of Alabama, Charleston.
Well, let's make it a sweep. We're going with the Tide. We got the Tide in the Elite Eight, and
are you saying you're gonna roll with the
absolutely.
Tide?
And then. Right here, I think Creighton's magic runs out, and I got Arizona playing Alabama in the Elite Eight.
Oh wow! So we're already off. We're all Ethan at Creighton. Never mind. Okay.
And then I just think they're the hottest team in America right now. They have the best player in America, and they have the best coach in America, Nate Oates. So the Alabama Crimson Tide, they're going to Houston.
All righty. So now let's go down to the East region. Purdue, and I believe it's going to be Farley Dickinson. That game is going on as we are recording this right now, but only one time a one seed's lost to a 16 seed. That stays that way. Purdue goes into the second round. Memphis, FAU. I like Memphis here. I think Penny Hardaway has been playing really good the last few times. I think this is going to be a good battle of two veteran-laden programs. Both teams have experienced backcourts. I like Memphis in the end. I think they have just a little bit more talent, and I think that wins out. Duke, Oral Roberts, 5-12 seat matchup, and honestly, I just wish both teams would lose. Both don't have any redeeming qualities whatsoever about their programs. And if it was any other team other than Duke playing Oral Roberts, I probably would pick Oral Roberts to win. But that's who Oral Roberts gets in a tough draw. I'm going to go with Duke. And in the 4-13 matchup, Tennessee, Louisiana. I like Louisiana. I think Tennessee has not been the same since their point guard tore his ACL. And I think we get a 13 upset in a 4.
And Tennessee's a team you can't trust in the tournament.
And Rick Barnes is the head coach. Yep. And then we go down to Kentucky Providence. And I like Kentucky. I think this is one of them weird years where Calipari figures something out. There's not many expectations. I think he's just going to let his guys go out there and play free. And I think that's going to lead them to a win over Providence. And then Kansas State, Montana State, 3-14. I like the Wildcats. Got to represent Coach Kleiman and Gene Taylor, former Bisons. We're going to roll with them. And then Michigan State, USC. I like Michigan State. I think Tom Izzo has had some extra time after losing to Ohio State in the Big Ten tournament. I think they are poised to go on a run in March. This seems like similar with Cal. I think this is a similar situation with Michigan State. And Izzo is not high expectations. You're going to go play with nothing to lose, and it's going to reflect on the scoreboard. And Marquette, Vermont. I like Marquette. Shaka Smart, they're playing well. They're the Big East champs, playing some of the best ball that they've played since he's been at Marquette. And I think he gets himself into the second round. So back up to the top, Purdue, Memphis. I've got an upset, 8-1. I like Memphis. Matt Painter, last I checked, is still coaching Purdue. Similar to Tennessee, I have notes written down that from last year, do not trust certain teams. Purdue is on that list. I'm going to roll with Memphis to move on. Duke, Louisiana. Duke. I think Duke is playing really well as well. Short, only one day to prepare. I trust John Shire over Louisiana. And I think Duke goes back to the Sweet 16. Kentucky, Kansas State. I like Kentucky. I don't know. Just seems like a team of destiny. And I think they're playing well. They've got a tremendous player. Can't think of the guy's name. Can't really pronounce it either. So I don't really
Oscar
want-
Sheboy?
Yeah.
Oh, Sheboy?
Yeah. Yep. Oscar Sheway. So I like a 6 seed to upset the 3, Kansas State. And then MSU Marquette. Ooh, and I bounce back and forth with this one. And do you know that Marquette has not won an NCAA tournament game since 2013?
So you're saying they're Duke?
With Shaka Smart.
Was it against Shaka Smart?
It was probably with him.
No, he wasn't at Marquette.
He was at
then.
VCU. Would have been VCU, right?
Was he
Yeah.
then? In 2013?
Yeah, no, Marquette lost to, or VCU lost to Michigan that year in the second round. And he hasn't been to the Sweet 16 since he made his Final Four run. I think Michigan State pulls it off against Marquette, and Shaka Smart still cannot find his way to the second weekend of the tournament. So now which sets up a Sweet 16 matchups between Memphis and Duke, and I like Duke. I don't like saying it. There's nothing. I'm proud to admit that I'm picking Duke, but I like Duke going to the Elite Eight in John Shire's first year. Now, Kentucky, Michigan State. The whole January, February Izzo, that's overrated. It's not Izzo. It's not a nickname for March for him. I like Kentucky and Coach Cal, which sets up a all blue blood matchup in the Elite Eight in the East region. Duke, Kentucky, and you know what? The old Kentucky home is going to be going to Houston, and that's their new home. So I like Kentucky going to the Final Four, which sets up an all SEC semifinal.
Interesting.
And it's definitely interesting. Purdue wins.
And also I picked sorry to interrupt, but
You're fine.
I picked Kentucky over Duke because we do not need to see Duke in the Final Four again.
This is fair.
We know what's not fair is that's in Madison Square Garden. That's going to be a Duke home game.
Oh yeah, too much of daddy's money. But Ethan, you're up.
Purdue wins first one quite easy. I don't think either team really get. I guess I don't know who won. It's probably over now, but doesn't matter. But Memphis, Florida Atlantic. I know nothing about Florida Atlantic. I saw Memphis even without what's his name, Sasser for Houston, beat the living shit out of them last weekend in the championship. So they have some dudes there, so they're going to advance past Florida Atlantic. Dylan, I'm sorry, we're just going to get rid of Duke right away. We are going to go with Oral Roberts. I don't think they've played a team that plays actually like Oral Roberts. They average 11 threes made a game, which is absolutely ridiculous. On top of that, they have the guys that have been there. Duke is so young this year. These guys haven't been at this type of thing. And Paul Mills, Abmas, they're looking to go back to the Sweet 16. And I like their chances. They went to the Sweet 16, right?
Yeah, they beat them because they beat Ohio State.
Yeah, that's right.
And they actually their starting five has an average older age than the Oklahoma City Thunder.
I definitely believe that. Like I think they do beat. I mean, it's probably the worst matchup they could have asked for in the 12-5, but I legitimately think they win that game. Tennessee, Louisiana, same thing Dylan said. Tennessee's without Ziegler, their point guard. They've been nothing even remotely close to what they were before. So the Raging Cajuns are out racing Tennessee off the floor. Kentucky, Providence. Providence's coach is being brought up in the Georgetown search. It's got to be a huge distraction for the team. Everyone's hearing it. So take Kentucky. I don't think Providence is going to be up for it. Kansas State, Montana State. I'll take Kansas State. Keontae George is going to – is that his name? Who's the guy? Keontae Johnson. That's the guy who damn near died at Florida. He's a stud, so he'll carry him. Michigan State, USC, the Pac-12 sucks. The Big Ten wins by default. So Michigan State advances. And then Marquette, Vermont. Marquette wins, even though I think his name's Becker, Vermont's coach. Is probably the most underrated coach in the country. How he hasn't gotten another job is beyond me.
They don't know how to get to Vermont.
Hey, they must not. They must not like.
I don't think I've never met anybody from Vermont. So are we even sure Vermont exists?
Well, I think
it does. They have good maple
people
syrup.
just once you get north of Massachusetts, people forget about that area.
It's Canada.
They think it's all Maine.
It is.
Like Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, it's just one big state.
Yeah, it's like its own
little country up there.
Yeah.
They like to tap their syrup trees and shoot moose.
Yeah, that's fair. But back to the bracket. I was very tempted actually to take Memphis over Purdue too, but Gillis for Purdue's been playing a hell of a lot better. He's a huge X factor. If he can knock down shots, it opens up the middle a lot more for Edey, and I don't think Memphis has any big dudes that can handle him down low. Oral Roberts, Louisiana, just your classic 12-13 matchup in the second round. I'm taking Oral Roberts. They're going back. Abmas is a stud, and honestly, you can hate Paul Mills if you want. He's a good coach. He is a dick.
He is. Well, his name's also. I don't think he's going to be coaching at Oral Roberts next year.
Oh God, no. I guess Abmas has 1 year left, so he could bring.
No, he's done after this year.
No, he has 1 year left.
Are you sure?
He has the COVID year.
No, this was his COVID year.
I don't think so. I saw someone tweet he could leave and bring Abmas with him.
Huh.
But maybe the guy was wrong. Kentucky, K-State, the Battle of the K's goes to the Little Apple. Manhattan moves on. Go Gene Taylor. This pick is for you. Michigan State, Marquette. I just don't think Michigan State's that good this year. Marquette is freaking loaded for whatever reason. I didn't think they'd be good coming into the year, but they are really good, so they're moving on. Then we got Purdue, Oral Roberts. I almost actually picked Oral Roberts to win this game because they had a guy that's actually an inch taller than Zach Edey, but he's probably also about 100 pounds lighter. So I didn't think that would be a good idea. So Purdue moves on to the Elite Eight. Kansas State, Marquette. Marquette moves on. K-State, I don't think has enough scoring to get by Marquette. But Purdue, Marquette, I'm taking Marquette. I think their guards are better. They're older. At some point, the young pups for Purdue are going to run out of steam, and Marquette advances to the Final Four.
Would that be the first Final Four since Dwayne Wade?
I would assume so, yeah.
All right, well, so my turn here in the East region. In Purdue, they're playing the teams of the deaf and the blind, so Purdue advances.
Purdue by default.
Yeah.
If you're playing Farley Dickinson, this is college, not a high school. This is Division I basketball.
Texas Southern also sounds like a.
I guess it does. So Purdue by default, we can sharpie them into the Sweet 16. There's your first Seth Davis reference for the night. 8-9. I'm with you guys. I'm gonna go Memphis because I'm with you. I know nothing about Florida Atlantic. I just know that Penny Hardaway's got a good team there in Memphis, and he can recruit well. So we're gonna go with the Tigers to advance. And then the 5-12 matchup in there. I wanted to take Oral Roberts, but I'm going to go with Duke. Duke, they're unfortunately playing somewhat better basketball here towards the end of the year. But again, I'm with Ethan. I think the ACC is just garbage this year, so it's not like Duke's that good of a team. And then Tennessee, Louisiana. Well, guess what, boys? It's a clean sweep. We're going to go Louisiana.
Are you still traumatized, or do you have the emotional damage from last year of what Tennessee
I sure
did to you?
do. I'm not gonna lie. That dinner at Fogo made it better, but still, the fact that my national champions decided to shit out the second round of the weekend, and against the Michigan
baby.
Wolverines, just makes it sick.
And they're back in the Sweet 16.
Unfortunately, so with that, we're gonna go Louisiana, and then.
Fuck you.
I'm gonna need some help here on this. Is it Kentucky Providence?
Kentucky Providence.
I'm just gonna go with just Kentucky here. They're playing better towards the end of the year with all that talent. They're gonna rebound from last year's traumatizing loss to St. Peter, and they're gonna win Kansas State.
I totally forgot about that.
Yep, because they're what?
When do they suck this year? They're still having thoughts on that.
Well, and from Seton Hall, that's where St. Peter's coach went, right? Yep.
Yeah. God, can you imagine if they would have played them first round instead of Providence or something?
Because the whole St. Peter's team essentially transferred to Seton Hall.
Yeah.
But the 3-14, I'm going to go with the Kansas State. They've been battle tested all year in the Big 12, so the Wildcats advance. And then I'm going to need some help here on this next one, boys.
Kansas State, Montana State.
Sorry, Kansas State. I'm going to take Kansas State here. Montana State is only good at football, and they're not playing football the last time I checked. So we're gonna go with the Wildcats.
Deal.
And if you ask former guest Mike Zier, he will never admit Montana State's good at football. But that's neither here nor there. So
Michigan State, USC.
Yep.
Pac-12 is garbage. USC's not good. Michigan State. It's the tournament time. I think Izzo's going to get a win here, so I'll go with the Spartans there.
All right, and then Marquette, Vermont.
Well, we're not shooting moose and we're not tapping maple trees, so Marquette by default.
That is good. That is good, Grant. Second round games. You had Purdue? You had Purdue, Memphis, right?
I don't know if James Wiseman is not playing for the Memphis Tigers, so they do not have anyone who can match up with Edey. I'm going to go with Purdue to advance into the Sweet 16 because you can trust Matt Painter in March. It's just once you get to the Sweet 16, that's when you cannot anymore. So we're going to the Boilermakers there. And then Duke and Louisiana, right?
Yep.
Unfortunately, I'm going to go with the Dukies. I just think they're going to be too much for Louisiana. Louisiana's going to be going off that high of beating Tennessee, and then they're just not going to be able to rebound a day later with that.
All righty. And then we've got Kentucky.
Matchup of the
Battle of the Wildcats. Yeah.
And give me Little Manhattan. Give me the team who's been battle tested all year. Kansas State. They're ready. They're going to be ready for a game like this. I don't trust Calipari. I think he's an overrated coach. I think he's a good businessman and a good recruiter. But I think Kansas State's going to get him here. And
all right, now we got Michigan State, Marquette
off of Kentucky recently too.
And then
yeah,
I got Marquette. Just from here, what everyone said, they're playing really well right now. But they're a long, good, big team. So I'm gonna go with Marquette into the Sweet 16.
Okay, so we got Purdue, Duke, and Kansas State, Michigan, or Marquette.
This one hurts to say, but I just don't trust Purdue come tournament time when they're in the Sweet 16. And like I said, this Duke team is getting better. The freshman, I'm going to say his name wrong, Filbosky, however you say it, he's playing really well. I think Duke's going to pull off the dub. And Jeremy Roach is going to have something to say about this game. So unfortunately, Duke makes it to the Elite Eight in a home game in New York City with all those people who work on Wall Street. And then they're going to be playing the Marquette Golden Eagles against Kansas State. Marquette's just hot, and I think they're gonna advance there in New York City. And then Ethan and I are 2 for 2 on Final Four teams. Give me the Golden Eagles of Marquette to make it to the Final Four out of the East region.
All right, that might be a smart pick.
We'll find
out. So we'll go over to the Midwest region. Houston is the 1 seed. They play Northern Kentucky, and 116. I'm rolling with the Cougs.
It's Bassett's playing, right?
That sets up.
Yeah, he's probable.
He's probable. Yeah, I just saw that.
Yeah, I don't know why they'd play him. They don't need him.
No.
Yeah, probably that first weekend they don't. Maybe just to get his conditioning back or something. I don't know, but. And then it goes Iowa, Auburn, and you know what? This is a rider pick. I'm going with the Hawkeyes. Fran McCaffrey. It's not the Sweet 16, so we're okay. I think he's going to shake off an embarrassing first round loss last year, and I think the Hawkeyes beat the Tigers. And then that goes down to the 5-12 matchup. Miami Drake. That one was a tough one for me. I bounced back and forth, but I'm going to roll with the Hurricanes. And then in the 4-13 matchup, and this is one that I also bounce back and forth with Indiana Kent State because, the MAC teams always seem to perform well in the big tournament. They've got veteran guards. They've given Houston and Gonzaga, and I think St. Mary's games, they've been competitive. I think they ended up losing, but they're battle tested, so they're not going to be afraid of the moment. But in the end, I think the Hoosiers are just too much for the Golden Flashes, and then go down to the 6-11, which is Iowa State, Mississippi State, or Pitt. Sorry, it was Pitt, not Mississippi State. I like Iowa State. I think Pitt looked really good on offense, but played in the ACC or in the ASS conference this year. So I'm going to roll with the Cyclones. So we got 2 Iowa teams moving on in the Midwest region, making the Midwest proud. And then Xavier, Kennesaw State. Kennesaw State, tremendous story. But the storybook gets shut against the Musketeers, and Xavier moves on. What's that?
That seemed personal.
Dylan's just a big Sean Miller guy.
Yeah.
Just a big Sean Miller guy.
NDSU played Kennesaw State when I was a manager for the basketball team, and I was walking out with one of the guys, and I held the door, and he kind of caught up to me, and I was like, "Oh, hey, good game." He's like, "Thanks." I'm like, "First time in North Dakota?" And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Well, what you think of it?" "Fucking freezing, bro." So that's my Kennesaw State story, and then we got Texas A&M, Penn State in the 7-10 matchup. And you know what? I like Penn State. I think Texas A&M, they've been crying over their seed. They played a slapdick non-conference schedule. That's why they are a 7 seed. They're going to keep crying about it. Penn State's going to go find a way to win. And I like Penn State to move on to the second round. And then we got Texas Colgate. Texas been one hell of a year for the Longhorns. And through all the adversity, I think they've found a way to get to the 2 seed. They've won the Big 12 tournament last week. I like the Longhorns. Hook them. And then back up to the second round, Houston, Iowa. I like Houston. I think Houston will play stifling defense. Iowa won't know what to do with it. Fran McCaffrey his best defense might be just staring at a ref and hope it works out. But I like the Cougars advancing. And then we got Miami, Indiana. And I don't know why, but I'm going to go with Miami. Probably a stupid pick, and it's going to bite me in the ass, but it's already in ink, so I'm rolling with the Hurricanes. It'll make up for their horrible football season. And then Iowa Xavier, big Sean Miller guy. So you know what? Go Musketeers. And then we got Penn State, Texas. I've never been to Pennsylvania. I've been to Texas. The Eagles are in Pennsylvania, and the Cowboys are in Texas, so I'm going with Texas.
Thanks for the geography lesson there.
And then we've got Houston, Miami, and I like the Cougars. I like the Cougars. Yep. I think Miami, their luck runs out, and then which sets up Xavier, Texas, and I like Texas. I think Texas moves on to the Elite Eight. I think their interim coach should get his interim tag removed and just go with him. Texas will overthink.
He's probably going to be National Coach of the Year.
Yeah. Oh, he has to be. And, I mean, Texas will overthink this and think we need this big name, but they're playing well. He did a heck of a job. And, yeah, But Texas will Texas, and they'll screw it up because that's what they do. And we've got Houston, Texas, a battle of Texas in the Elite Eight matchup in the Midwest. And I'm going to go with – I like the Cougars. I think they find a way to get to play a Final Four in their home city. And they get back there for their second time in 3 years, back to Houston.
All right. Well, talking about Houston, they demolish Northern Kentucky with or without Marcus Sasser. Doesn't matter. They're going to beat the living hell out of them. Down to Iowa, Auburn. when Iowa's not at Carver Hawkeye Arena, they can't hit water if they fell out of a boat. So we are going to go with Auburn, especially playing in their own backyard. I don't know how far it is from Auburn to Birmingham, but it's in the same state, so it can't be too far. That state's very narrow. So Auburn's going to win that one. Go down to Drake, Miami. I'm taking Drake. I think Tucker DeVries is going to be a name everyone's going to know after this tournament. The dude is an absolute beast. So he's going to take that game over. Indiana, Kent State. If it was Kent State football, I'd take him because Kenny Burns is now their football coach, but he is not their basketball coach. So Indiana is going to win that game. Iowa State, Pittsburgh. No one likes Pittsburgh. I'm sorry, but Iowa State wins. Xavier, Kennesaw State. I know nothing about Kennesaw State, but Xavier's going to beat the living doors off them. Penn State, Texas A&M. Texas A&M struggles to score. Penn State doesn't. So Penn State by TKO. And then Texas, Colgate. Texas uses Crest, not Colgate, so they will be moving on. Yes, on to the top again. Houston, Auburn. I think Houston's too good, even with a maybe iffy Marcus Sasser. I still think they can get by Auburn. Drake, Indiana. I haven't fixed it on my bracket yet, but I am taking Drake. I think Indiana can neutralize, TJD enough. Or Trace Jackson Jr., TJJ. I don't know. Well, I don't know what they call him. But
Trace Jackson Davis.
Davis.
Timeout.
Yes, I was right. TJD.
You know, since we are doing a bracket, the tournament hasn't started yet.
Yeah.
I'm making
You're
an
allowed
amendment.
to do that.
Sure.
I am. I'm flipping from Drake to beat Miami, and then Indiana to beat Drake.
Okay.
Indiana's in the Sweet 16.
There.
Yeah.
Yes.
For Dylan, yeah. I have Drake. I think I don't think Indiana has enough around TJD to actually beat Drake. Drake's a solid team. Down to Iowa State, Xavier. Iowa State is going to have to pray Gabe Kalsher can slow down Xavier's point guard or else they're screwed. So I'm taking Xavier. I don't think Gabe is up for the challenge. He had his one good game in the tournament with Minnesota, so he is done in Minnesota terms. Like, you only get one shot. Penn State, Texas. I'm going to Texas. Penn State has done bad things in the history, and Texas is going to make them pay. Houston in Drake. Sorry, I almost says Indiana. Houston wins. I think they are good to go past Drake. It doesn't matter with Sasser or not. These first three games, I don't think they need him. Down to Xavier, Texas. This is probably going to be one of the top 5 games of the tournament if it happens. But I got Texas moving on too veteran, too good. They go on to play Houston. And I think this is where it hurts Houston to have Sasser not at 100%. I think Texas beats them. I had Houston to win it all before the year. I basically was going to pick them even up until I heard Sasser hurt his groin. That's just too much of a easily re-aggravated injury for me. I don't want to risk it. So we are going with Texas. And if they make it to the Final Four, I think the coach keeps his job. But I'm not going to sit here and act like 18-7 with that roster is super, super impressive.
Well, yeah, especially with how old this roster is and how much college basketball they've played. I mean, I get the Big 12 is a hell of a conference, but
yeah, but he was granted basically the best
with that roster and at that school with that talent, the money they spend at you. To your point, Ethan, 18-7. It's what any coach should do at Texas. Yeah,
he should be like 20-3.
All right. Well, like you guys said, we're going to start at the top. And who's Houston playing? Northern Kentucky.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm going to take
Northern
the Cougars over the Hillbillies of Northern Kentucky. That one's pretty easy. Nobody likes anything to do with the state of Kentucky. It's the armpit of America. Besides California, if we could kick a state out, it would be Kentucky. So go Cougs.
Hey, Kentucky Derby, Kentucky Bourbon. There's worse states like Alabama.
Yeah, Louisville Slugger.
We'll send Ethan to go.
Muhammad Ali, the greatest is from
I'm not a
Kentucky.
boxing guy. I don't care. Get rid of those crazy white hillbillies. Kentucky's gone. Okay.
I'm going to get you a glass of wine right now just to piss you off because you made fun of Kentucky.
There, you do it, Ethan. Atta
it's
boy.
not going to faze me because I'm used to this by now. Because Ethan.
All right, go pick your team to
actually
lose
am
now.
going to pick
Iowa, Auburn. You're not a writer like I am.
I'm not, but also I know, like Ethan says, Iowa away from Carver Hawkeye Arena is a below 500 basketball team. And I am just worried that if they don't go fast in this game and they let Auburn set up their half-court defense with how long and how fast and athletic they are, Iowa's not going to be able to get past them. If Auburn's defense is going to put the clamps down, I think if Iowa wants to win, I think they're going to have to go fast. If Auburn hits a shot, they're going to have to score in transition. So, what the fuck are you doing? Are you looking down on me?
Are you peeing?
It looks like he's trying to do a lat spread, but I know he doesn't work out his back, so his back's not impressive.
I'm very concerned.
I think he's looking down on me because I picked.
No, I was trying to do the Fran McCaffrey, but you weren't smart enough to catch on. Damn it!
That was awkward. I'm not gonna lie.
What the hell is going on?
I was hoping. I don't know how long my headphone cord extends.
Actually, though, that's probably what Kelly Pfeiffer felt like, though, because he is like maybe 5'10". Fran is like 6'6".
I should have brought out the glasses too and put those on and then stared at you.
Instead of holding my notebook here, I wish I was holding a basketball.
No, his hands are on his hips. That's right.
So yeah, War Eagle in that game, unfortunately. What the hell is next? I totally lost my train.
Miami Drake.
Well, unfortunately, I'm going to let the state of Iowa down again, and I'm going to go with the Hurricanes. I just think maybe they're going to be a little too athletic for Drake there, and they're going to pull off the big dub. And then 4-13 matchup.
4-13 matchup.
Indiana Kent State. I'm gonna roll with Indiana. I think Mike Woodson, he's gonna have time. He's gonna be able to get a good game plan down. Indiana's got those two big time players. Indiana's gonna get the dub right there.
All right, and then Iowa State.
I've been dogging the ASK conference, but I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh just because if Gabe Kalsher doesn't play well, Iowa State cannot score points. In Pittsburgh, they're just kind of a rough and rowdy team. I don't think Gabe, like Ethan said, he had his one good game in the tournament. He's already done that. I think Iowa State's going to struggle to score, and Pitt's going to pull off the upset. But like Ethan said, nobody likes anything to do with Pittsburgh, so I don't feel great with this pick. But I'm rolling. It's just a shitty state. It's a dirty state. Nothing. What good has come from Pennsylvania? I couldn't get in the office. I couldn't get into it. So I'm sorry, Dylan. You can't get me there. I respect the Steel.
Steel and Philly cheesesteaks.
That's the only two good things.
And Rocky.
I'm
not going to get into the fictional character like those stupid Eagles fans, but we're
yeah, fuck them. Fly, Eagles, fly. Hope you crash.
Remember, James Berry held on that play. What the ref call? What's the next game?
What do we got here?
Xavier.
Yeah, it's the Sean Miller show. Xavier's rolling. They're gonna advance right there.
And then
like Ethan said, Penn State has done some bad things. A&M is from the state of Texas. I'm going with the Aggies. I think, Dylan, to your point, they're gonna use that where they felt slighted as a 7th seed, and they're gonna have a good game plan down, a good week of practice. Buzz Williams is gonna get the Aggies ready. Even though they wear Adidas, and I hate their head football coach because he lays up on a par 4, I'm going to go with the Aggies. Par 5, par 4, whatever it is. Jimbo Fisher
could be a par 3. He putted
Jimbo Fisher lays up. So I don't like. He is
Jimbo's a bitch.
That's a game day sign right there. We just gave somebody if game day ever goes to wherever the Aggies are playing is Jimbo lays up on a par 3.
When they go to Austin for Texas's first home game in the SEC. we might have to go and just hold up that sign. So I'm gonna roll with I'm gonna go with the Aggies right there. Texas Colgate, like Ethan said, Crest is a superior toothpaste. We're going with the Longhorns.
Okay, and then we're back up to the top. We've got Houston Auburn.
Well, now Auburn finally matches up with someone who can match them athletically. And Auburn has trouble scoring, so give me the Cougs. Give me the Cougs to advance. And then Miami is playing Indiana. You know what? I had Miami on my sheet, but I'm going to change that. I'm going to go with the Hoosiers.
Ooh,
I think this will be a
okay.
Mike Woodson special, and I think Indiana's going to get back to the Sweet 16. Yeah, so I got to change that. I was going to go with Miami, but we're rolling with the Hoosiers.
Alrighty, and then we've got
Iowa
Iowa
State
State Xavier.
Well, Pittsburgh Xavier. I think
Pittsburgh
this is
Xavier.
where Pittsburgh luck runs out. And again, Sean Miller, he got caught on the hot with the wire, but he's a good basketball coach, and I'm gonna go Xavier into the Sweet 16. And then we just talked about Texas and Texas A&M as a possible football matchup in College Game Day that we need to go to with a sign. But I'm gonna go with the Horns right here, just because, like Ethan said, they're veteran laden team. They have so many guys who have played over 100 games in college basketball. They're going to be ready to play. The Horns advance. And then in my first Sweet 16 matchup, I got Houston versus Indiana. Well, this is where Indiana's luck runs out, and I think the Cougs get a big win right there. And then Xavier versus Texas, like Ethan said, this will probably be one of the best games of the tournament. But I'm going to go with that experienced team in Texas who's been around a lot. And I think so far, Ethan and I are 3 for 3. In Final Four teams, I got Texas. Texas beating Houston, getting there. I think after beating Kansas twice in this last week by 20-plus points, winning the Big 12 tournament, Texas has got some motivation, and motivation takes you a hell of a long way in March. So the Horns get to the Final Four.
Okay. So to recap right now before we go to the West, I have Alabama, Kentucky, Houston. Ethan has Alabama, Marquette, Texas, as does Grant. So going into the West region, we've got, starting it off, Kansas, Howard. I like the Jayhawks. And then in the 8-9 matchup, two very underperforming teams this year. I'm going to go with the Muss Bus, and they ride on into the second round in Des Moines. Then we got St. Mary's VCU in a 5-12 matchup. I like St. Mary's. I like the Gales to beat the Rams. And then we got in a 4-13 matchup, somewhat of a throwback to the old Big East of UConn Iona with Rick Pitino coaching the Gales. And there's a lot of controversy, a lot of discussion that Pitino might be going to a bigger job, and I think that's a bit of a distraction. I like the Huskies to advance. And then TCU versus either Arizona State, Nevada. That game's going on as we record it. Doesn't matter. TCU is going to win one of Ethan's preseason Final Four predictions. And then Gonzaga, Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon University. Looks like a phenomenal place to go watch a game. Their student section looks electric. But I got to go with the Gonzaga. It's not the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8. So I'm going with the Zags. And then Northwestern, Boise State. Now, we've got a matchup of a team that's been to the NCAA Tournament twice now, and Boise State, who plays in the Mountain West. Do you guys know what Boise State's record in the NCAA Tournament is since 2016?
0-0.
Since 2016.
0-1.
It is not. They are 1-11 since 2016 in NCAA tournament games.
How is that possible?
Well, and we have a few other ones. Utah State, so that would make them 1-12, 1-13 with San Diego State.
The Mountain West is 1-something.
Yeah. The Mountain West is 1-11.
Because you said Boise, and I was like, those math numbers don't add up.
Yes. So up to this point, they're 1-13. I think they go Boise. The Mountain West goes to 1-14. I like the Wildcats to move on, and then we got UCLA, UNC, Asheville. I know Grant's never been to California, and I know he likes North Carolina, but I think the California school advances.
That's a shame.
And then we've got Kansas, Arkansas, and I had this for the longest time. Arkansas as an upset, but I switched it. Bill Self as a 1 seed is almost a surefire guarantee to make it to at least the Sweet 16 in the NCAA tournament. So I'm rolling with the Jayhawks, and their title defense marches on into the second weekend. And then we got St. Mary's UConn. They were the last team to lose a game in the NCAA this year. And I like UConn to go and beat the Gales. And then we got TCU Gonzaga. And I'm going to go with this isn't one of Mark Few's best teams. And when they play a team that's on even or level competition, they kind of tense up a little bit. So I'm rolling with the Horned Frogs. And then we've got Northwestern UCLA. I like UCLA. And then in the Sweet 16, we got Kansas UConn. I think this is where Kansas's luck runs out. I think UConn pulls the upset, and they go on to the Elite Eight, and they're going to be playing UCLA. I think UCLA's been a tremendous team. I think they were in the running for a while for the 1 seed, but just ended up having to settle for a 2. So I like the Bruins to move on, which sets up in the Elite, the West region, UConn, UCLA. I like the Huskies. Something about the Dan Hurley's team. I think they're gonna get hot at the right time, and I think they're gonna move on to Houston for the Final Four, their first appearance since 2014.
Wow. All right, so we're gonna move on. Kansas is playing Dwight Howard. They're gonna win. Dwight Howard's washed up, so we're moving on. Kansas goes. Illinois, Arkansas. Sorry, Grant, your preseason Final Four pick is going to lose to Illinois. Even though I don't think Illinois is that good, I don't think Arkansas is either. St. Mary's, VCU. I'm not a big VCU guy this year. I don't know why, but St. Mary's is solid. I think they beat Gonzaga
at least once
this year.
Yeah.
I think they beat them once, lost twice. But then UConn, Iona. The last game that Rick Pitino is going to coach for Iona before he goes to St. John's and absolutely tears it up in New York. But it doesn't matter. UConn will beat him. I think they're going to be solid enough to hold off the Gales. TCU is going to beat whoever the heck is playing right now. They're both not good. Neither one are good enough to beat TCU, so the Horned Frogs advance. TCU is very good. Gonzaga, Grand Canyon. Gonzaga is good, but I don't think they're great, but they still win this game. I don't think they're like our college age Gonzaga teams. They're just solid. They're not like elite. And then Boise State, Northwestern. Boise State sucks. The Mountain West sucks. Still improved it. Northwestern moves on. Go Kitties. And then UCLA, UNC Asheville. If views counted, Asheville would win since I was just driving through there a couple weeks ago. But UCLA is better, so they advance. Kansas, Illinois. This is the game that hopefully your roommate gets to watch.
Yes, hopefully.
Mr. Alec. So down in Des Moines. So Kansas wins. And then St. Mary's, UConn, a little bit of some mid-major. I guess not really mid-major for UConn anymore. But UConn wins. They beat the mid-major St. Mary's. They move on to face Kansas. TCU, Gonzaga, like I already mentioned, TCU is really good. Gonzaga is only decent. So TCU advances. And they're going to play UCLA. Northwestern is good, but they're not that good. They can't keep up with them, even though they got second in the Big Ten. Kansas, UConn, even with a newly stinted Bill Self, Kansas wins. They beat UConn. And then TCU, UCLA. We have a Big 12 matchup in the Elite Eight and what is going to be a Big 12 matchup in the actual Final Four as well. TCU advances preseason Final Four and regular season Final Four. So the Horned Frogs are going to be in the playoff for the football, and also they're going to be in the the Final Four for basketball. I don't know if any team has done that yet.
So.
Both. It's got to be close.
Yeah.
Because Alabama didn't this year.
Maybe Ohio State in like 15?
Nope. Ohio State has been to the Final Four since 12. It's not Kentucky.
It'll be the first time. Besides that, you have a bunch of football schools.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there you go.
Nice.
Man, the state of Texas sure is going to love Ethan if they listen to this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know, Dylan. Dylan, you don't need to look it up because it's definitely the first time it's going to happen. Has to be.
It has to be.
So we're going to get this show on the road, and Kansas is going to advance just because they're better than whoever the hell they're playing. Yeah, Dwight Howard's team. So yeah, Howard, you don't stand a chance. So the Jayhawks go off to the second round. Bill Self's not going to have too much stress in this game. He's
Oh my God, he's dead.
Oh God, he could. I'm going to tell you guys a joke off camera because I thought of something and it's hilarious, but I'm not going to say it now.
Oh boy.
Who the hell is Bill Self going to play in the second round? Oh yeah. I'm going to go with my preseason Final Four pick. I'm going to go Arkansas. Just because I think they're athletic. They haven't been able to put it together much this year in the regular season, but I trust Musselman as a coach, so I'm going to go the Razorbacks playing the Jayhawks, and then I need some help here, boys. What's the 5-12 matchup again, or 4-13? St. Mary's VCU. God, this was a game I wanted to go with VCU just because of that 5-12 matchup, but I think St. Mary's is going to pull it off. It's good.
I had already picked 3-12.
Yeah, the sweep of the four. That's a lot. So
that's a bit aggressive considering the other three.
That is correct. 16. And then whoever's UConn is playing, it don't matter because I think they're going to advance. And low key, UConn's a damn good team this year. And you know what? Whenever the Final Four is in the state of Texas, the UConn Huskies always find a way to play some of their best basketball. And who knows? Mess around and win the whole thing. So we'll go with UConn right here. And then
that would actually be cool if they won. It'd be like basically
absolutely
all over again.
Like
it goes every year.
Every year when it was in Texas.
Year.
UConn would go win it. Kind of like in the early 2000s, an even year in baseball, pencil in the Giants to the World Series.
Yeah.
And then after UConn, what do we got next on there, boys?
TCU, Arizona State, Nevada.
Just say Arizona State. They're up 19 with 5 minutes left in the first half. It's not.
Yeah, so we're gonna go with the Fighting Jamie Dixons, and after he kind of got screwed out of a big tournament win last year against Arizona, he's gonna get to the second round. So TCU is gonna advance, and then we got Gonzaga playing whoever the heck they're playing.
Grand Canyon.
Grand Canyon. That are they the Antelopes or what the hell are they?
Grant make
Gonzaga. This isn't a competition on which campus is more beautiful. If that were the case, we're going to go Grand Canyon. I'm going with Gonzaga. And then, as in the words of Ethan, UCLA, whoever they're playing, it don't matter. UCLA's got the better players. Mick Cronin's a hell of a coach. He's underrated. UCLA advances.
Yep, and it is the Antelopes.
Nice.
Canyon's mascot. So.
All right, boys, and this is where it's gonna get wild here, and this is gonna make or break my tournament to see if we win or not.
He's taking Boise State to the Elite
we are not. We're gonna go with the Northwestern Wildcats, right there. And Chris Collins doing a hell of a job there. They're in Evanston, but like I said, right here, this is where we make or break this bracket. I said Arkansas the Final Four to start the year. I think Kansas is too reliant on Jalen Wilson, and I think I'm worried about that health scare. Go Pig Suey! We're taking the Hogs in the Sweet 16. Yeah, we're gonna do it. You got to be aggressive. You got to get aggressive this time of the year in March, and we're gonna go with the Hawks right here. Sorry, Bill, but your road to recovery is going to start this weekend, Saturday night.
They're on the Final Four. The road to he didn't have a heart attack though. The exactly. Put a stint in.
And I need to find my notes here. Here we are. So thank you.
St. Mary's
the Gales. They're their season is going to end, I'm going to go with UConn. Like I said, Dylan, they were the last team to lose this year. And they're just playing well. And I think, a Bobby Hurley-led team, they're going to be tough. They're going to clamp you down on defense, and they're going to give St. Mary's some trouble. So UConn advances. And then we have Gonzaga, TCU.
TCU.
I'm going to regret this because this is normally a team you can't trust, but I think with Timmy being experienced, I think Mark Few is going to do a good coaching job in this game. I'm going to go with Gonzaga in the Sweet 16.
Ooh, and this is a little bit of a trouble in paradise for you, Grant, because I believe you had Arkansas and Gonzaga in your Final Four.
Oh boy,
this year. So, yep. So, all right. Now we got Northwestern UCLA.
We're gonna go UCLA. They're just a good basketball team.
Okay.
And they're like I said, Mick Cronin's a hell of a coach, and they're gonna be too much for Northwestern. It's too much.
Okay, and then. No,
yeah,
off to the Sweet 16.
We got UConn and Arkansas. And sorry, Razorbacks, but this is where your fun ends. I'm going with the Huskies. Right here. I think they got the upset over Kansas. That kind of made their season, and that's about as far as they're going to be able to get. And then the bottom of that, Gonzaga and UCLA. This, I don't know. It's tough because UCLA has a couple of injuries right now. That I don't know if they can come back from. But I'm going to go with the Zags. I'm going to stick with my preseason prediction. Like I said, UCLA, they just got a couple injuries, I think, in their backcourt right now. And I think Mark Few is going to have a nice job coaching this tournament. So I go with the Zags. And then Gonzaga versus UConn. And the Elite Eight, I'm going to go with the Zags to the Final Four. I think this is, Mark Few does a nice job coaching in this tournament. Like Ethan said, it's not his best team, but he's going to put a nice coaching job together in the Zags and be in the Final Four.
Jesus.
Okay.
Arizona State is like utterly unconscious right now. They're 29.
Oh, it's like watching the Summer League tournament all over again.
Like, they are absolutely just annihilating Nevada and Steve Alford.
Jeez. Okay, well, so now we're going to go to Final Four predictions. So, like I've said, I got Alabama, Kentucky in one, Houston and UConn in the other. And in the all SEC portion, I like Alabama. They're just too hot, playing too well. Just nothing seems to faze them. And I like them moving on to the national title game. And then in the other national semifinal, Houston, UConn. I like Houston. I think Sasser's going to have time to rest up. I think he's going to be ready to roll when it comes to the Final Four. I like Houston playing a national title game in their home city. Lovely city of Houston. So, and I've got Alabama, Houston, and in the end, I think Alabama's got too good a shooting, too good of an assist man, and I think in the end, Alabama, I'm rolling with the tide, and I think Alabama is holding up the national championship trophy, and they win 63-59.
You know what's funny, guys, according to Dylan here, Alabama doesn't win a football title in 2 years. We think we're away from the Crimson Tide. Not so fast. Not so fast.
No.
I don't know what's in that water in Tuscaloosa, but doggone it, I want to drink some.
So I think I agree with Dylan. Alabama's going to the championship. Marquette, I don't think is going to be good enough in Alabama. They looked utterly ridiculous in that SEC championship game. I can't remember number 14's name, but he's basically just unstoppable on defense. So good luck trying to score on him. Over to the Big 12 championship. I mean, the second Final Four matchup, Texas TCU. I think Texas is too good, too much experience. Just honestly, they're just better. And they advance to the championship. But Alabama wins it, 75-68. Brandon Miller very well might have helped cut that lady's life short, and he's going to do the same thing to this net.
He went there, folks. God
I
love him, and God bless America and the Bill of Rights.
I've been waiting all day to say that.
I thought Dill went far when they said Alabama has good an assist man, but Ethan just put it right down our fucking throats. That was fantastic, my friend. So let's get started here. Alabama Marquette. Again, guys, I like Alabama. They're Brendan, the best player in the country. They're long, they're fast, and when they stop shooting so many goddamn threes,
or people,
or people.
Hey, it was only one. It was only one.
And the guy was a former player. He's not on the team anymore. But when they attack the basket, no pun intended on that, they're almost unstoppable. They're playing so well right now. Like I said, I think Nate Oates is the coach of the year, or at least he should be. And it's just going to solidify him and Saban as the best college basketball coach duo in the country. And then on the bottom side, Texas Gonzaga. Like I said, I like Texas's maturity. How much college basketball these kids have played over these last couple of years. They're confident. Like it's beaten Kansas by 20 points twice in the last 2 weeks. We're going to have a future SEC match in the national title game. And just like the football game this fall, I think Texas is going to come out and maybe play better all game. But Alabama's going to have the two best players on the court and the best coach. And the Tide are going to come and win this title game, and they're going to win 81-70. Yeah, going away towards the end. Yep.
High scoring game. All righty. Well, there, you guys have heard it here first. So, okay, I got 20%. So we've got, is all three of us, are we all picking Alabama to win it?
Sounds like it.
Okay, well, I guess we're going to roll with the Tide.
And if you're wondering here, my phone's about to die, so I got it on the charger.
Oh, there you go. Well, yeah, same with my computer. I got to get that figured out at some point too. But anyways, back to we'll off air we'll have our therapy session, guys, so don't worry. But I suppose with that now, got a clean sweep of Alabama. We talked a little bit of NFL free agency. We only got one thing left to do before we put a bow on the podcast. And Grant, we're going to kick it over to you because boys. You got curveball of the week.
We just spent, the last hour and 10 minutes talking about basketball. So probably for the next 3 weeks, that's the only thing we're going to watch on TV. But speaking of TV watching, I got a question. I just want to know, guys, earlier this year on the podcast, you guys asked what is our guilty pleasure TV show? And, I let the whole world know that I'm a big Siesta Key fan down there on the Gulf side of Florida and Sarasota. And I think that show has since been canceled. So that's a shame. I'll have to find my new guilty pleasure. But this time I want to know, what was your favorite TV show of all time? Like the series where you've watched it once, you probably watched it again, and you just can't get enough of it. Like which show?
Do cartoons count?
Ethan, just for you, it's my question, but it's your answer. Your beach, your ocean. You could give me your favorite cartoon, and maybe like your favorite drama type. If you got one of each, great. If not, I'm fine with just a cartoon. But yeah, favorite.
I'll go. And this is a pretty. I think you guys would know this one for sure. And mine all time is 2.5 Men. Has to be.
Yep.
Grew up watching it with my dad. We come home, have supper, and it would be on, and we'd be sitting.
Apartment.
Yeah,
every Saturday morning you'd watch it for like 4 hours.
I would. It would. I would wake up from whatever I was doing the night before, and that would cure me, and it would get me off on the right track for the rest of the weekend. Charlie Sheen, hilarious. Alan, cheap. Berta was probably my favorite low-key character of the show. Just her snarky remarks all the time are just classics, and all the time. And then it came out on Peacock a couple of years ago, and I rewatched everything every episode, and it's still just as funny. And even now when I see it on TV, I have to have it on and watch it and laugh. So
Dylan,
definitely
whenever
2.5
I see
Men.
it's on like TV in here, like every night at like 5 or 5:30 or 8 o'clock, I see it and I'm just like, huh? If only Dylan was here.
I'm gonna go
Oh
House of
God,
Cards.
that's a good show.
Ooh,
Fantastic show, and honestly, I think it's. I guess I'm not in politics. I don't know for sure, but I feel like it gives you a very realistic, like, view of what politics are actually like in DC. Like that shit actually fucking
Cutthroat
happens.
it is.
Like it. Yeah, it's just nuts. Like it's super fascinating, and just honestly, I actually learned a decent amount just about politics in general, just from the show. Even though I know that's not the point of the show.
Oh yeah, Ethan, I'm right there with you. House of Cards was great. Now this might surprise you guys from my answer because I think I know what you think I'm thinking, but it's not that. And I'm gonna go with a show that it's not Friends.
Not
No,
Friends?
I'd say that. I think Dylan would
I
have
might
an
have
idea, and I've seen it through twice now. I got to go Mad Men.
Ooh, okay. I was gonna either go that one or Modern Family,
Friends,
but
they're fantastic. But something about just that drama and the writing and how great Mad Men was and what life was like in the '60s in this country, on Madison Avenue there in New York. John Hamm does an absolute fantastic job as Don Draper, or Dick Whitman, which is his actual name. But and then it's just cool how they go through all the historical aspects that actually happened, in the '60s, the Vietnam War, JFK getting assassinated, Martin Luther King getting assassinated, big boxing matches, just anything and everything that happened in the '60s. They portray it through those 7 years, and I think it's just a fantastic show. The writing is great, and I couldn't get enough of it, which is why I've seen all seven seasons twice. They're long episodes.
those are long episodes
45,
too. They're
50
like
minutes.
45
There's a couple
minutes.
episodes in like season 4 and 5 where they were like an hour and 50. They essentially made a movie off those episodes, but they're just fantastic, and I love that show.
Okay, so we got Mad Men, 2.5 Men, and House of Cards. So I think that's all we got this week. Make your free throws. Cheer for your team. Hope the brackets fall all our way. Oh, and then the winner of our bracket challenge gets a free meal at Wildfire Steakhouse. Is that correct, Ethan? Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Okay, got it. Okay, so we will see how that works out. Thank you guys for listening. Go check us out on all of our social medias. Facebook is the Three Guys Talking Ball podcast, along with the YouTube. Subscribe there if you want to see the video version, where we'll also be posting segments of the show. And then go check out the Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, 3GTV podcast, where we'll be posting other content and interacting with anybody who wants to chat with us. So with that puts a bow on episode 69 of the Three Guys Talking Ball podcast. We'll talk to you next week.